This is a group of just ordinary blokes trying to do something extraordinary. Just ordinary blokes trying to do something extraordinary.
I'm in. Update's done. Looking for.
Okay, wow. Apologies about that. That was apparently some other adverts there. Okay, hi guys. How are we all doing today? Now, this is the pre-stream. This is where everything gets ready. So that mistake is fine. That's fine. Okay, so how is the audio? What's up there, Duckman? How are you doing? And go away there, Windows notifications. So there, Darfin. Hello there. How are we all doing? Okay, so I'd love for you guys to tell me how the audio is, so I'm going to bring the music up here. So I just want you to let me know how loud you guys want this to be. So, how is that? I mean, obviously this is going to take a few moments for you guys to be able to get this, so if you could let me know, then that'd be fantastic. Just trying to get the music up there. I'm playing it through Windows Media rather than through the game, just so I have more control over the said audio. So I'd love for you guys to let me know. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, I want to try and find that right balance between audio from myself and obviously from the game. The music is honestly fantastic. I really do appreciate the music quite a, well, a massive degree. It's superb music. So yes. There's not too long until the stream officially starts. This is really for us just to get things set up and ready to go. I am going to bring up my drawing tool so I have it ready for later. It's really a good tool, really good for using it to try and explain ideas and generally stratagems. So, how is everybody doing today? How are we all doing? It's an absolutely gorgeous day in the UK, and I feel cringy when I say in the UK because it sounds really strange, but in England basically it is a beautiful day. Absolutely bloody gorgeous. Really, really hot. Very hot. And when I say very hot, it's like, I understand the term redneck and where it comes from. It comes from having bloody sunburn. It's raining there. Oh, well, I'll trade you, man. I will trade you. I haven't had anything to complain about for a while. Okay, so just over 5 minutes until the stream is officially starting, not long. I hope you guys have got your popcorn ready, and it should be quite interesting, really. Strasbourg. So is the audio coming across fine? Video coming across fine? It's amusing, actually. There's only 5 minutes until the stream starts, but I'm itching to go. I really am itching to go here. I'm having to just mentally remind myself, well, I'm having to remind myself that I can't actually talk about things until the stream starts. Because then I'm going to be losing 5 minutes of talking time. And if there's one thing I can do, and that is talk for a long time. You have a long road ahead to repel the Germans. That is, it's interesting actually. I think we've had some good success so far, in as far as actually halting the advance over here. So they're barreled. How are we doing, my friends? How is everybody today? So, question for everybody. Where are you guys from then? How warm is it, and is it preferable to 30 degrees? because I would love to know where to move to. How day. Hi, my day's been good. It's been very, very good. Yeah, it is remarkably warm. I live in Yorkshire, so well, South Yorkshire, so it's been bloody warm. 30 degrees is just inhumane. It's too much. It's far, far too much. Oh, Switzerland, beautiful country. I mean, to be fair, so is France and so is Italy. Would love to see that. See, I'd take a cold overcast any day of the week. Jeez, 35 degrees there in Chihuahua, Mexico. I am going to admit that you have it really much warmer, and I am not jealous of that. Thirty is comfortable. It's not comfortable when you're not used to it. Hello there, Grain. How are you doing, my friend? In fact, I mean, the temperature's a little bit irritating. So I have my full uniform I ordered sometime, for those of you who don't usually follow me or listen to me in any way, I recently ordered a German officer uniform, like a full reproduction officer uniform, and I received it the other week. And I've not had a chance to try it out yet, mostly because it is really far too warm, in my opinion, to be wearing all wool with leather boots, and yeah, it's a little bit too warm for that. I think I might give that a little bit of time until the weather cools down a little bit. Yeah, it should get cold soon enough. Right, 1 minute to go, guys. Really excited about this. I hope you guys are as well, and of course you girls too. Ooh, should have got the Africa Core version. Possibly one day. Possibly one day. 1 minute. Really raring to go here. We have a good number of things to discuss, and how we're going to go forward. Here we go, just mere seconds. The time is 6 PM, and hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gary Grisby's War in the West, as we try to repel the Germans' offensive in the Ardennes, which we have been somewhat successful in doing so far. We have managed to hold the German panzer armies over here along the forests of the Ardennes. We are in a good position for the time being. We do need to contend with the German Luftwaffe, as that is a problem that will not be going away anytime soon. We need to try and neutralise it, in fact, and the Germans are moving to their airfields further away from the front line, which is going to make things a little bit more difficult for us. So we'll have to try and reach out there with our strategics, well, more so our level bombers, medium bombers, try to reach out to those German airfields and try to hamper their operations in the air. Because at the end of the day, air power is decisive, but it is not the say-all and end-all. We still have to use our forces on the ground here to really deliver the killing blow. So how is everybody doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I've been excited about this, I hope you guys are as well. So, let's get into some details then, shall we? Now then, what we need to do is we need to take a look at our commander's log over here, our logistic, well, basically our log here. What I want to see is supply. I need to figure out how much we're using and where it's going. So let's just see here. Okay. Arrival, so we can see that we have new forces that have arrived here. We will go with the supply bin. So what I want to find out then is where it's going. So if we take a look for the name of the depot, so let's see here. We're going to press the N key, bring up the depots, and we're going to go look for the ones we need, such as Marche or Marche. I apologise if I butchered that pronunciation. It's probably going to be a common thing to be happening. So let's see if we can find that depot over here and see roughly how much in terms of tonnage of supplies is going there. It would be a good one to find out. In all honesty, I probably have missed it around here somewhere. Okay. Let's see, just start from the top then, shall we? For those of you who are just joining the stream, welcome, welcome. This is Categories 1 the West, a very, very much in-depth game that covers the, well, the one in the West. It's in the name, people. It is honestly a really, really superb game, and there's not much else like it other than Categories War in the East, unsurprisingly so. So, getting right back into things there, I've done that little bit of announcement, a little bit of a welcome, welcome. Let's look at some details then, shall we, ladies and gentlemen. So we are looking for the depot. I may not be able to find it as easily on the screen. I mean, this one is a very handy tool, and we'll come back to this quite often in the future, actually. Okay, so I'm going to do it in an easier fashion. This one is a little bit harder doing it that way. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at the actual depot. So we can see here the amount of supply and the amount of fuel. So we have a lot of fuel there, but not much in the way of actual supply. So if we take a look at the actual rail network over here, so you can see by the colours where the actual load in the network is. So you can see here, we actually have a high-level depot over here, which is rather it's not going to help us out too much. So what we're going to do then is going to reduce the priority of this depot to a level 1 priority, more so due to the fact that there's really not much of an issue here. Cherbourg can remain a level 4 due to the fact that we have the supplies being sent from Plymouth and the other British ports into the French port there at Cherbourg or Cherbourg. I'm going to go with Cherbourg. I'm probably annoying a lot of people with that pronunciation. Feel free to rectify my horrific pronunciations there. Okay, so we have a large amount of supplies going towards Brussels to our depot there. You can see here that is a large amount of supplies. It's not too far, so if we take a look over here at the 5th US Army Corps, and we need to figure out where their supplies are actually coming from, roughly. So, in the unit is a good amount here. We can see about 74% of the supplies is in the unit. We do require more, but that's not too bad. Vehicles were over capacity. We're actually doing very well. We're going over abundance there, technically. So our supplies here are coming from Namur. So that is where we're receiving them from, so Namur. Which is interesting to say, actually, that we have the depot over here. So it must be somewhat easier then for our forces to trace their supply here. Now that would make sense as we are not too far away from Namur. And it may be due to the fact that we actually do not have a good enough amount of supplies over here. So we must be taken from Namur for that reason. So at least we've been able to take a look at that. So let's see. Okay. So consume 41 tons of supplies. We used 29 vehicles, we lost 2 to attrition. That's very important to take into consideration. So you can see here that Namur, range 2, the movement points cost is only 9. Okay, so they're moving there because of the cost being the cheapest. So, where are you guys taking your supply from? Where is your Corps command? Which is the 5th US Corps, okay. That's good to know. So the 5th US Corps is taking supply from Namur. How about this corps down here, the 8th US Corps? Luxembourg. Okay, understandably so, as you're right on top of it, not a bad idea really to do so. Supply is good, fuel's very good, we don't need to worry about supply then for this moment in time. Okay, as a Frenchman I'm used to it. I love you Frenchies, I'd really love to visit France once again. Beautiful, beautiful country, absolutely gorgeous. Now just waiting for Get a Grizzly to combine one in the west, one in the east, and one in the Pacific Admiral's Edition. Okay. Right then, so what we need to do here then is figure out the location for our possible offensives. So, the reason why we're looking at these depots is to figure that one out. We need to see how the logistics is actually flowing to the front and really how we can improve the efficiency there. So the colour dictates the amount of usage. So you can see here usage is 5,000, usage over here is 785. So it's interesting to see that we have these rails being burdened, whereas the ones from, well, the ones just outside of them are being burdened, but these ones over here are actually under a fairly light load, which is rather interesting. So it leads me to think that possibly supplies are moving from Luxembourg all the way to the north to our depot over here, and from Liège down to the south. If you press the 8 gate, you get a visual reference. Ah, that's good to see. Yeah, we'll take that. So this is also a very good thing to see here. It does get a little bit complicated, which is why I'm a little bit hesitant to use it sometimes. So what we'll do then is we'll turn off the N key, and we can see here. So the red lines dictate where the supply is going to. White dictates where the supply is pretty much coming from, roughly. So, it's a very good reference here. Yeah, so many lines indeed. It's a very handy tool, very, very handy. So you can see here, obviously, this is a supply source for these divisions. So we can see that Namur, mostly, Luxembourg, yes, these supplies are going mostly over here, not so much to these in the north. Sedan is actually acting as a supply depot to us, and I'm not surprised as to why, because there's a lot of supply here. Okay. Now, this is a very important depot. Understandably so. Okay, so now that we understand more about where our supplies are going and where they're coming from, we can really start to use that to our advantage. So the German forces, they operate by the same logistics network as we do. So what we'll take a look at over here then is the fortifications. And really how we're going to impact on the Germans' ability to fight here. So we can see that we have pushed forward and we have taken the town over here. Now, as for supplies, we do have a couple. We have really crippled the town in terms of damage for the time being, so that's good to see. Now, what we have to contend with is the German rear guard. We can see that we do have a division over here, the 363rd Volksgrenadier Division. They're not very powerful, they have been battered a little bit. So we can make a good play here. We do have our Airborne set for a landing over here just outside of Bitburg. I feel that could be very good, as we do have a lot of the German commands over here, and if we neuter the German commands, basically cut off the army headquarters, the corps headquarters from their actual units, that is going to cause absolute anarchy in the German rear line. The idea I'm trying to build towards here is building up the armoured pressure in the south and in the north. We do have armour over here, but that is more so just to plug the gap in the line. And it's always handy to have armour nearby to support your infantry, which is the main reason for it. You don't really want to have your armour operate without infantry. You don't really want to have your infantry operate without armour. Both can operate without the other, but they don't do as well as when they work together. Okay. Now, I'm considering running interdiction along these rail lines over here. The reason being, if we can reduce the amount of supply flowing to these German forces, we'll have a much easier time at knocking them out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a look at this then. So you can see here, the arrow, well, the little chevron in the corner shows the amount of fuel. Now, this Panzer Division, the 2nd SS Panzer Division, is doing pretty damn well in terms of actual fuel. These ones to the north as well, so we have the 1st SS Panzer Division, they're doing pretty great. Okay. Now that is a good indicator of how the German armies are really doing in terms of supply. So if we go through it and we'll take a look at ammunition. Ammunition is okay. What I want to try and figure out then is how we can try and cut them off. Their morale is still good. These forces are suffering with their morale, which is very important to take note of. We do have some Volksgrenadiers to the north here. The 3rd Volksgrenadier Division is quite powerful. I'd be very interested in actually destroying the 85th Division, or at least moving the 85th Division and approaching Cologne. If we threaten Cologne, the Germans are going to have to respond here in a dramatic fashion. They're not going to be able to hold this point here, which is why I want to create a pocket here and actually cripple the Germans as efficiently as I can. It's been not too bad. Supplies. Now this is the one I'm interested in. Yeah, the supply situation seems to be fairly operational for the time being, so what we need to do then is step up our efforts here. So if we take a look at our air missions, we can see here we have security over this area, we have reconnaissance. We need to shift these in the future and really try to make a stronger effort against the Germans here. So what we're going to do then is move some units then, so to say. So in the south, we are pushing on the Germans. Now, I was hoping that we could actually isolate the German forces here and cut them off. So what we're going to try to do then is we're going to draw in our handy-dandy tool. So we have our line over here. The Germans obviously hold this position. The Germans have an enclave just at the frontier and outpost, a forward position, I suppose you could call it. It's not a very good one. They are just here for the time being. They're not going to stay. It's very tenuous. It's not something you want to be holding on to. More so due to the fact that they are actually in front of the river, while you'd... Actually, no, they do have a river line here. That's not a bad position, then. So at least that's not bad. I would approve of that position. Okay. So what we have to take into consideration here is the terrain itself. So we have clear terrain. We do have the city of Colmar over here, which is going to be a hellish defensive... nightmare, really. Well, I suppose it's a defensive dream and an offensive nightmare. The weakest position is here with the 198th Division. Behind them are the West Wall fortified zone, so basically a garrison force. Nothing too particularly strong. We do have the 30th SS Grenadier Division, along with the SS Corps there. We do have a detachment of Cossacks. Not very large, not very strong. These forces are quite weak over here, so if we were to break through this line, basically what we're going to have to consider doing then is first dislodging this force over here. The reason being, if we can try to narrow this down here, try to repel the Panzer Grenadiers from crossing the river, basically prevent them from doing so, then that is a prize in of itself. Hello, hello there, Neuhauser, how are you doing, my dude? So this unit over here is probably the easiest way to do it. We'll have to make our way through here, so let's just clear that, draw that out more effectively. So push through here, try to establish ourselves behind the river line. The most important thing is establishing ourselves behind the river. That's where we need to be. To the north is more difficult. We have armor over this way, not so much in this area. These forces could be potentially broken, and we could try to establish ourselves with a pincer movement behind the limes. Lines. So in that case, D, how are you doing, my dude? Okay. That's the plan anyway. It's not a very good plan, I'm going to be honest, but it's a very simple plan, and therefore there's very little that can go wrong, at least for the time being. Okay, so what do we have over here then? So we have some Moroccan Free French Mountaineering Division. That's very handy. It is going to come in great use here. The terrain is clear, so that's at least a thing in our benefit, I suppose you could call it. Terrain, mostly clear. There is some terrain that we do need to take into consideration, like behind the river line here, but we'll worry about that once we get to that bridge. Okay, so we have Free French forces and the US Army here in the south. Let's see if we can put them to the best use then. The game is definitely more detailed than War of the East. It does take logistics to another level. It's a very good game. I really do enjoy this. I love both games, don't get me wrong. Okay. I suppose the terrain is smaller and more detailed, as obviously the scenario, the actual theatre is smaller than the Russian front. Okay, so I should stop chinwagging and actually get on with things. I apologise, I find it way too easy to talk more about this game than to actually play this game. Okay, so let's see, we have the Free French forces over here, we have our armour. Let's try and figure out how many forces we actually have under the control of the Free French then. So we do have the Free French army. Let's figure this one out then. Which command would they come under? So they're under the Free French Army, of course, and they're under the 6th US Army group. Okay, let's figure that one out then. I just want to see what I can actually throw the Germans before we actually do so. So the 6th US Army group, so let's see. Right, so about 186,000 Frenchmen, 1,668 guns, and about 1,418 armoured fighting vehicles. Okay, that's a pretty sufficient force to break through here. It's not what I would like. I'd like to have, obviously, much more armour, much more guns, but this is going to work out fine. Okay. Now, we do have an airfield over here. This is only a level 1 airfield, but this could be very handy. But the Germans... So the Luftwaffe doesn't have a great presence in the area. They're based mostly over here. Freiburg would be fantastic to take that level 3 airfield. Okay, so we're going to push through this area. This is by far the best position to push through, so let's see what we can throw at them. Now, I could push forward here, across the river, to establish ourselves, and most importantly, to cut off this rail network. So we're going to do that. We're going to really make it much more difficult on them. Okay. Let's move some extra supportive forces. We do have armor to the north. That is something that we do have to consider. The fuel is actually pretty decent as well. I mean, we have 353 armored fighting vehicles. Okay, that's not bad. Let's commit to action then, shall we? I'm not going to commit the Free French armoured. I'm going to move the battalion over here. We have 2 Free French infantry divisions. I'm going to move those to support this offensive. So we'll take the 3rd Algerian division. Right, probably not a good idea. So, okay, we'll give this a go then. We'll take out the 2nd Free French Armour Division, and we're going to try and make a go at this. So we have two... Okay, so not a huge amount. I'm going to throw in the Free French Armour Division then, just to make sure we actually have sufficient firepower to potentially break through. Which we do with the 708th. Volks Grenadier Division has retreated. Superb. The Armoured don't have enough movement points to really push on through that gap. So let's see, we need to throw something in there that can make use of this. The Armour is going to struggle... How about the motorized? No, okay. That is going to be down to the zone of controls, the zone of control projected by the Joan divisions in the area. It is pretty difficult. It is going to take a lot for us to push through here, due to the attrition more than anything. You imagine you're pushing to the area, you're going to be walking into quite a difficult spot due to the fact that you have 3 divisions right on your flanks. It's not a great situation to be walking into. Yeah, so let's just make sure that we get these guys up here so we can see that we can't quite reach, which is a shame, but I'm not too displeased about that. Okay, so we can reform this into a full division. Right, we'll cover our flank. Let's go with a probing attack. Okay, so we can't cross the river here. We do have some good maneuverability, but it's not quite enough. If I was able to dislodge that division, I wouldn't have the issues I'm having right now, but the fact remains we don't have the offensive capability to do that as of yet. So we will have to look at how we can improve on this. Now, I do have the US Armored Forces to the north, but that is a big commitment. Though, in all honesty, let's take a look over here then. What do we stand to gain from this area? We could make a push towards Mainz, Mans, Koblenz, and Frankfurt. Frankfurt is a good production centre. We do have level 3 airfields in this area, level 2 airfields. A good amount of them, in fact. Stuttgart. Okay, Messerschmitt 163s. A push towards Munich would be quite nice. Okay. I think this is going to be a very limited offensive here. There's not too much I can really realistically achieve. So what we'll do then is we'll take the 2 divisions here. We're going to shift them over to this area. Okay. The reason for this is mostly so I can position myself and also ready myself. Okay, the armour is pretty useless for this sort of movement through mounted positions. So we'll split up the motorised and we'll use it just to cover our flanks here. It is using fuel, but at the end of the day I'm very close to my supply, so I don't need to worry too much. Okay, so I can reform that division in the following turn. The armour is going to be moved. So, we do have an opportunity to try here, so I think I will do that. Okay, that's not bad. Use support to the south. Okay. What do we have ready for action then? Not as much as I would like, but we'll try to force our way through here then. So we're met with failure, which is understandable. We're dealing with a division that is going to be somewhat well dug in. Let's take a look at their fortifications. That would be the rail. Okay, so they have no fortifications, which is actually rather interesting. Let's see what we can achieve. Okay, let's pause and we'll go back then and take a look at that. So let's take a look at the battle sites and we'll see roughly what we're dealing with here. Yeah, it's very true about the victory locations. I'm thinking more so towards the logistics, in all honesty. I think if I can crush the logistics system, basically the logistics network, then we'll achieve those victory locations in a matter of time anyway. Okay, that's my personal way of approaching this. So let's see here. So, destroyed and damaged. The thing to note here is that we are facing Panther Gs, Stone Panzer 4s and Stug 3 Gs, Jag Panzer 4s, so they are equipped with some formidable armoured fighting vehicles. Okay. We achieved fair success over here. It's a very small advance, it's a very small thing in the grand scheme of things, but that is going to make a big difference overall, as it's going to allow us to push up further. Okay, so, as pointed out, we will take a look at our victory locations. We can see over here that we have Saarbrücken, however the heck you pronounce that. Apologies, guys. But that is an objective that we're close to taking. Trier is one that is close to the front line. We have managed to take one of our objectives over here, which is at least a good point of reference. At least that's a good point for us to start with. So, Offenburg is quite close to. That one we will try to make our play against, I think. Let's see. Really revolves around the weakest point of the German line, which is pretty much here for the time being. Okay, so we have some US infantry divisions ready. We have plenty of armor. I would love to sever this rail line. Okay, so let's draw this out then. So, this rail line operating from Mainz, or to Koblenz up towards Cologne. You're basically implementing Eisenhower's broad front strategy. Indeed. Okay, so this is a rail line I would love to cut. Obviously, this is going to put a increased load upon this one towards Cologne on the other side of the river. It's not the most effective strategy. It is going to be absorbed by the Germans, but at the end of the day, this is going to increase the amount of load on this rail line. And then if we go on to target this rail line with our interdiction, basically using our air power to hit that rail line, that's going to really lead to an increased amount of attrition and reduce supplies and mouse getting to the front line. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's going to be the plan. So, let's take a look at our actual German counterparts on this line then. So, let's see. This is definitely the point of weakness. This is manageable. It's a little bit more than I would hope for, but it is definitely manageable. I can get through that. I think what we need to do then is we need to drive through and establish, ideally, a 3 hex wide front. So it may be that we break through here, potentially 2. But this is going to be difficult. We would have to try to envelop that division. So let's plan our offensive here then. Okay. So this would be phase 1. So that is the first phase. Breakthrough here. The second phase will be then to advance, ideally to envelop this division, move towards Adar Oberstein, and then on towards Mainz. Okay, so that would be the second phase. Third phase revolves really around establishing ourselves at Mainz and heading towards Koblenz. Now, these airfields over here to the south would be very nice secondary objectives. There's a lot of industry in this area. When I say industry, I suppose I could say urban centres. There's a lot of urban centres in this area, but they're secondary. Really headed towards Koblenz is going to be the primary objective after Mainz. Most days we try to envelop this SS Panzer Army and the Panzer Armies. Okay. Let's see what we can achieve here. Bring the corps closer to the front line. What do we have assigned here as support then? So, 60 armoured fighter vehicles, 270 pieces of artillery. Let's see what we can actually bring to the fight then. Supreme Command does have a large amount of artillery available. I apologise, guys, by the way, for rambling a little bit. I get really into this game sometimes, and I get a little bit tongue-tied. It's one of those games where you can really enjoy this. I love it. Okay, so 155s. I do like the size of that artillery, so go with some 155mm artillery pieces. I think they're going to really help us out. I'm going to go with a lot of artillery because it is going to come in damn handy. So let's see, 363 guns, that's an increase there. I'd actually like to assign a few more engineers, but you know what I'm going to do is actually save those engineers for when we're going up against a urban centre. So let's take a look at the terrain here. So we have clear terrain, fantastic, heavy woods, clear, okay, over here is clear. Oh, no, that is a city. Right, okay, so that is where that defensive value is coming from. So we are going to definitely try and surround Saarbrücken. I'm just going to say the Saar. Okay, let's go for a full attack over here. Right, the 757th Infantry Regiment has been forced to retreat. Let's see. Break that division up. We don't have the movement here. Ah, that's very nice of you to say that, R-drop. I suppose it sounds like rambling to myself. Okay, so we can push through with the armor here, that's good to see. Now what I need to do then is dislodge this force over here. Let's bring our core up to the front. We do have forces to support this attack, that's quite nice actually. I'd rather use forces further away than the forces on the front line due to the limited amount of maneuverability we have there. Okay. Interesting. 42 armoured fighter vehicles. Righto. Let's move this support formation. What can we throw at this division? So 10, right, okay, that's just yeah, that is a sufficient amount of combat value for us to break through here. I feel fairly confident about that. We do have the armor division here, but what I will do then is actually save these US cavalry groups. These 3 infantry divisions should be more than enough to break through. So we do have 3. I am going to go ahead and support it further with another battalion. The reason being, I can't allow this to fail. Okay, fantastic. This is somewhat overkill, but it should work. Hoo-hoo. Okay. Right, so we lost 16 armoured fighter vehicles. We have really inflicted quite heavy damage upon this force here. It only looks like 300th century forces have been knocked out, but if we take a look at the combat side, we take a look at these details. So general information here. So let's see, the Axis, 54 elements were destroyed. We did lose more than the Axis here, but damage 76, 153. Okay. Disrupted 123. So 76 elements of their formation has been damaged. 123 have been disrupted. Losses. Okay, not a huge amount, but let's take a look at the damage. Armoured fighter vehicles, 2 destroyed, 1 damaged. Okay, so the thing to take into consideration here is the fact that they do not have much in the way of armour. So that's good news. That's good news indeed. Okay, so let's see what we have available. We could do that again. And I believe I will do so. But in fact, yeah, we're gonna go all in. We're gonna go all in. There we go, they're dislodged. Fantastic. You could see just then that they only had about 5 armoured fighter vehicles in in total there. 7 to begin with. Down to 5, they lose 2. Right, the good news is there's no air support in this area, so that's fantastic. Okay. Now the armour could force its way here. What we need to do then is dislodge this division here. So, we've managed to achieve our breakthrough here. We've managed to achieve a breakthrough here. We need to achieve breakthrough in this area so that we can then push on and actually combine our forces here, form a mini pocket. This would be absolutely phenomenal. If we had to surround the city of, well, the city in the Tsar, that is going to be honestly a phenomenal result in this turn. I'm very much trying to gun towards that. Okay. Let's see. That division can definitely push through there. The armor division could, in fact, move through. It's a little bit of a shame that it is in this position right here, but that's fine. What do we have in terms of support? We could move that division there. We do have another 2 armored divisions to the south, so yeah, we do have a great amount of firepower, really. Now, we do have the 35th Division and the 87th Division. I don't really have other infantry divisions to aid them in a meaningful way in terms of following up after the assault, but this is going to be, yeah, this is going to be good. We might actually be able to push on through to mountains, potentially. It depends really on the roll of the dice. So I have 2 US infantry divisions here. I'm going to actually move them both over to this area to be involved in the attack. I've already broken down that US infantry division. There we go. Let's see. Now this is much better. Right, superb. So the 103rd and the 45th Division can carry out a full attack. We'll have them work in coordination with our other US divisions from the other US Army Corps. And this is definitely overkill. So in fact, we'll go with 2 divisions, see how we'll do. If they fail, we can follow up with the other 2 divisions. And, right, okay, so this is definitely a failure. Let's take a look at what we're actually dealing with here. So they have 10 armoured fighter vehicles. They actually have more armoured fighter vehicles than the previous force that we had to dislodge. I mean, what we have to take into consideration here is that we are attacking a heavily fortified position. So that is very much on the cards here, level 3 fortification. These guys aren't going to go down without a fight, really. We may have to consider throwing the armor into this. This may not, in fact, be anywhere near enough. So what I'm going to do then is going to use my armored over here. The infantry. I need to plug this gap. I'm half tempted to use this battalion over here and then have them reassigned to a different headquarters, but I still feel fairly confident on this. Okay, so what we're going to take a look at doing here then is how we can reinforce this group and make them a much stronger and more formidable formation. So artillery, we do have self-propelled artillery there. We do have plenty of engineers, so I'm going to put some combat engineers into this formation. Yeah, I'm going to keep them there. I will have them reassigned in the following turn. So that's a lot of engineers, but I really do want them to benefit from that. Okay, there's a unit under the HQ slightly west of the pocket you're trying to make. Okay. Yes, over here we do have another infantry division. Thank you for pointing that one out. I nearly missed that one. Okay, superb. So I can fill that gap in. Beautiful. Okay. This should be enough. Should. Fantastic. They've been forced to retreat. However, that is a difficult position. I was hoping that they would retreat over here, but this we can make do with. I can make do with this. Okay, so the division can actually move up, which is actually really good. So, let's see. Yeah, a lot of our forces can actually follow up on the assault here. That's actually fantastic. Okay. Now, if I push to this location over here, and we dislodge the 719th, we would actually be able to cut them off here. Walker is one of your better generals, he'll get you through. Damn right he will. Yeah, we're going to push forward with that division here just to see what we're actually dealing with. I'm going to push this battalion, at least a battalion here, to cover the forest. Okay, so we can identify the 256th Bulge Grenadier Division. We have the 757th Infantry Regiment. Okay, so the regiment is by far the weakest position here. That is a full division, that is a full division, along with the headquarters. And the headquarters is going to put up some resistance here, along with the infantry division. So this position here is looking pretty weak. Now, the issue we're dealing with over here to the west is the 11th Panzer Division, which is somewhat formidable. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what luck we have here. So, I could go for a hasty attack. Let's take a look at the factors then, shall we? So supply, the infantry division, the 790th, isn't doing too great. It's not doing terribly though. Fuel, not an issue for them to really consider. Ammunition's quite low. Ammunition's quite low over here as well, actually. Let's take a look at the division here and really work out what we are missing here. As you can see, the table equipment for the actual 6 US Armor Division is it's a little bit rough shape right now. It's not the greatest. I mean, almost half of our jumbos are out of action in terms of damage. It's not great right now. Yeah, our table equipment is lacking. The table equipment should be 11,015. We're actually down to 9,396. It's not exactly great. Yeah, okay. We're missing quite a few medium tanks. That's not very good. Okay, but nonetheless, we will force our way through here and try to push towards Mans. Assuming that's how you actually pronounce it, which I imagine is completely wrong. Okay. We could use the armor to back us up here. Right, hasty attacks can be made. We do have a German corps there, but I need to surround the city and cut it off. Let's see. Fantastic. That's exactly what we need right now. We can throw a hasty attack over here. Yeah, it was halted. Unsurprisingly. The German defenders took no losses there. That wasn't great. But the most important thing here to consider is the fact that we've actually cut off the city from the rest of our lines. We need to really exploit that. Now, at the moment, I'm suffering due to the fact that we don't have these under controls under, well, really in our best interest right now. I'm half considering using the armor division to actually push this headquarters out of the way and really establish ourselves. We do have another 2 divisions here that we can throw up, but it's not the best thing to do. Okay. How's our supply lines looking? The supply lines in this area are pretty good. We do need to take a depot. The thing is, we do have the possibility to set up a depot here or close by, so that's good news. Okay. I think I'm going to consider throwing the armored into this fray. Right. Let's give that a go. They're weakened, but they might have a chance. And they managed to pull it off. That's honestly superb. Okay, so we've actually managed to dislodge all the German forces in this area. The division here, the 326 Bulge division, is isolated and cut off. We are free to push forward towards Madens now. At least we're going to really try to take advantage of that. Okay, so I can push forward here. Let's advance. Now, I do have my other cavalry group, which will advance to help secure that position. So, now this force is truly cut off. They're almost completely isolated. But they're no longer in connection with the German front line here now. They are definitely behind the enemy front lines. Well, at least our front lines, not the enemy. We're, of course, the good guys. Okay. Right. Let's push forward. What are we facing here? Volksgrenadier, infantry, and infantry regiment. What we'll do then is potentially, do we go for a full... We can pull off a full attack here. I am considering it, but another option here is actually untenable. Right, okay. You mean you're the enemy? We are to these guys. Okay, where's your command? Your command is quite far away. They haven't been really supported very well, so let's change that. Let's move our forces up here. Okay. We're going to use this division to secure our lines. Right, no movement available. Okay, so the best bet here then is to try and force the attack, which has been repelled. Okay, so that's a heavy loss of armoured fighter vehicles. We lost 227 men by the end of the day. That is pretty rough losses, to say that we have a huge, absolutely overwhelming superiority in armor. But this position is manageable. Okay, we're going to just throw ourselves here against the regiment, and we are successful. Unsurprisingly so. Okay. We are going to strip this armoured core, well, this army core of its armour. Now, I'm not too happy about this movement here, but at the end of the day, we have surrounded the city. We need to make sure that we hold the city down, because the benefits of actually taking that area is honestly far outweighs any tactical movements we could have gained there. But we still have an option to move forward, which is absolutely superb. So we are going to do so. Now, we do have an option here. Do we advance into the light woods? Do we hold the clear terrain here where we are supported by our other allied forces? We don't really gain anything for taking this hex, because at the end of the day we're already in this hex. So what I'm going to do then is move up to this position here, have you transfer to the armoured core, to the third core, and let's see what we can do with you. Now, they do have a good defensive ability here, so in fact what I'm going to do is actually keep them in place. Okay, so honestly, that is a great result there. I'm very happy with that. How is this headquarters doing? They're not over capacity as of yet. This US Army Corps is just up to its capacity, so they can't really handle much more than that, but they can handle it for the time being. The rail lines we have captured are in dire need of repair. Okay. So we're going to advance our forces to Metz. Yeah, if we capture it, they are going to be in a difficult position. At the end of the day, we do have armoured building, well, an armoured force building up over here. The grand plan then really is in the north, I suppose the centre, to envelop the SS Army and the Panzer Army. Over here we are pushing towards this line here. That's a really badly drawn line. Okay, we are oh god. Horrific. We are okay, how about I draw the arrow the opposite way. Okay, that's worked out much better. So this is where we're heading over here. So it might be, in fact... Wow, I can't draw arrows like that. That's really bad. You have paratroopers. Yes, we do, in fact, have paratroopers. The paratroopers are planned to land around Bitburg. Hello there, Agrippa. How are you doing, my friends? So, Agrippa is fantastic, guys. I would very much recommend heading over to his channel. Really great guy. He lives in Portugal. I mean, Portugal exists, so that's really good. Beautiful, beautiful country. Anybody else getting a lag? It seems to be fine on my end. I hope you guys are okay. It may be an issue with Twitch. I'm hoping it's with Twitch. I'm not trying to cover on my own tracks here. So anyway, our airborne forces are destined to land around Bitburg. Now, do we throw the Bitburg advance off for the time being, or do we go ahead? Just pause a few seconds and start again, everything... Okay. Right, I'm just going to pause the stream. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so I have an advert on Twitch. We should be back in a few moments. Oop, I spelled advert wrong. Okay. Could you guys confirm for me that the stream is actually up and working just fine? I do a large movement, not Bitburg. Now, Bitburg is a small cog in the big wheel here. The reason why I choose Bitburg is, at the end of the day, if we pull off our larger movement towards... what is that? That is like a hammer. Why am I so bad at drawing arrows? Okay. That's the best I can do. If we pull off our larger movement towards Koblenz, we do stand a chance of creating a much larger pocket here. But the reason I want Bitburg is, at the end of the day, let's say, for example, we take Bitburg and we push towards Koblenz. Rather than having to push all the way to Koblenz, we can in fact push towards the area here and shorten the distance. So it creates a pocket just the same, but it has a higher chance of success. It's a easier objective to strive for, I would say. Okay. Yeah, the poor German team. I actually expected them to come out of that doing well. Okay. Yeah, the logistical paths as well. I mean, the Bitburg path does actually support us with the Princess Depot, a town to work from, and obviously the rail line. I mean, this is all things to consider, which is really why I do consider Bitburg a vital objective. Now, let's take a look at the actual defense here. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to make large pockets in Modern West, to be honest. Not gonna lie about that one. Okay, so we have these forces here. In fact, I'm gonna throw them at this Bulge Grenadier division, so we can force them out of the way. And we do, so that's pretty nice. Okay, that is well and truly the last of their movement here. Yeah, that's the idea, really. This is what I'm going for. If we cut their logistics, they're going to suffer. At the end of the day, if they run out of fuel, they are more than boned, and they are definitely open to our forces. I don't even really need to push across the entire line. I just need to use my armor and use a few forces to really cut them off and really make them bleed. But this advance in the south is actually more than likely going to cause them to retreat in part. The good news is that we are in contact with them across the front here, which is going to make it difficult for them. They're going to take attrition, they're going to not have the freedom of action as they would like. So that is something they have to consider. Also, could somebody actually tell me the length of time the stream has been up? I lost count there with restarting it, so... okay, never mind. 6:47, that's good. I thought I'd gone over time then for a moment. Right. So this is going fairly well. I'm happy with this so far. We managed to take 47 minutes to waffle onto this point, so I hope you guys are enjoying this so far, because I bloody am. Okay, so we have these two divisions here. I could throw them at the panzers, but that's a bad idea. Okay. Now, I'm not going to use the Airborne this turn. We aren't going to throw an offensive in this area here. I could hit the panzers, but I'm not going to waste my time like that. I could hit the panzers here, which might be a very good idea, to be fair. Let's see. They are in reserve. Yeah, okay, this isn't good. We'll have you change command. I'm going to throw my armor over in this direction. Okay, we'll take the division here, the 99th. Right, let's see what sort of damage we can inflict upon the 9th SS Panzer Division. Right, we do have some air support there. Of course, they hold their position. Let's take a look at then at this battle. Let's see, this is quite important actually. So they've only lost about 3 armored fighter vehicles. Right. The air phase can be very quick, or it can be very lengthy. Honestly, it depends really what you're going for. Yeah, my logistics are pretty poor compared to the Germans. They do hold the Ardennes, they do hold all the cars in terms of logistics on the other side of the rivers, really, and the other side of the forest. So that is something that we do have to really take into consideration in a big way. Okay, so destroyed elements, very light on both sides. Okay, let's take a look at their ground losses. I'd like to see really what we're playing against. So we do have Panther Gs, Panther 4Js. Damaged, right, so we didn't destroy any Panthers or Panzer 4Js. Something we do have to worry about. Okay. Right. In Italy, is there any secret to dislodge the entrenched forces in central Italy? Yes. Amphibious landings behind our lines. Hit that weak underbelly. Okay. I'm happy with these movements so far. Moving on to the forces in the north, really. I do have the armored divisions here that I can throw up, but I'd rather keep them steady. Let's see. Right, that core is overburdened. This core is overburdened. That army could take some more, but we are overburdened in this area here. I could do with really alleviating that issue. But for the time being, this will be fine. Okay. Right, I'll take that for a moment. So north, we don't have a huge amount that we can do right now. The British position over here is interesting to say the very least. And it's interesting to see that we do have the 12th SS Panzer Division. 6th Fuskenjäger Division. Okay, what are our defenses like over here? Fairly weak, in all honesty. I'm actually quite worried about this. If you're going to be attacking fortifications, always have engineers. Always. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is actually have the 21st British Army really geared towards this northern area. This is quite dangerous. This is in fact very, very dangerous. Okay, I'm actually very much worried about this. Now, this is a huge commitment of force by me here. The reason I'm doing this is, honestly, this is very worrying. Okay, the core can sustain this, so that's fine. In this area, we do have an interesting position. I mean, this is Canadian Corps. Oh, Canadian Regiment. Okay. My bad. My bad. Right. Let's see. We do have a rail line that I can repair over there, so I would like to head towards that location. I do have infantry over here, which is very nice. Right. I'd like them to transfer command. This area intrigues me. We do have commandos. Okay. So we have a question here, is if there's someone from Slytherin online, I'd like to ask if there's any plans for regular rotation new items for the store. I'm sure somebody will get to you right old soon there, Byron, and I hope they're able to answer your question. It's a very good question. Okay, let's use our rail capacity here then. I'd like to use it in this area where we're going to bloody well need it. So let's move this rail line. There we go. We do have another division over here which I can commit, so I'm going to commit it to this area here, as it's going to be very, very useful. Okay, we'll have it assigned to the core there in the area. Superb. Not quite able to take them off the trains, but that is fine for the time being. Now let's take a look at the issues over here. So we do have these forces surrounded. We do have that armoured formation, which I will have moved towards Luxembourg. There we go. We'll have them assigned to a command. Right. Okay, so far I'm happy with this. We have really achieved quite a bit there. I'm very happy about that. So let's see how the Germans respond to this. I'm happy with this maneuver. Well, this maneuver. The issue they're going to suffer in this area is the sheer amount of forces. They can make it out of there, but they're going to have to commit a lot. I mean, they only have 4 hexes to work with. Each hex that we take now on this line is really going to be very dangerous for the German army for the year. Okay, so you can see a retreat there. Hello there, how are we all doing? Right, so we can see that the German forces in the area, the SS army and the Panzer army, have withdrawn. That's very good. They've lost all offensive momentum. At the end of the day, this is a perfect opportunity for a counter-offensive by our armies in the area. So let's see what we've achieved here. Okay. Now that is what I like. So we have a Volksgrenadier regiment over here. We do have a weakened Volksgrenadier division, the 9th Volksgrenadier division. We actually still managed to hold the town. Superb. Okay. I mean, it should start to run much lower for them. What do we see on the front lines then? So we have the 2nd SS Panzer. We have the 21st Panzer. Is this the 9th Panzer? Right, the Führer Panzergrenadier Brigade was to the south originally. Okay. I need reconnaissance over Bitburg. I need air support around Bitburg too. But the... Right. So let's take a look at this here. We do have an open corridor, at least as far as we're aware. I have no idea what is in this position here. But what we do have to take into consideration is that if we make a reckless advance towards these airfields over here, that would be very satisfying, don't get me wrong. But we do leave ourselves open to a counter-offensive that could potentially cut our flanks off and see us isolated and destroyed. So we do need to be very cautious about this, extremely cautious. In honesty, I would favour working towards encirclement here. Our primary objective is to reach, let's say, Bonn for the time being. So Bonn is our objective here for the time being. This area is what we need to cut off and isolate. Logistically, that is. We are working closer to our target here, so this is fantastic. So, this, and what do we have here? We have a 7th Army! Superb! That's actually quite the prize. That is quite the prize indeed. Okay, so we have level 3 fortifications here. No fortification, but these fortifications have been started, so we need to dislodge them post-haste so that they cannot, in fact, fortify. The way to Men's is looking rather interesting. They're having to withdraw in certain areas. Right, the Panzer Grenadiers have withdrawn across the river, that's fine. These positions here are a little bit more difficult to deal with than I would have hoped for. This is going to be proved somewhat problematic and very slow, and honestly I might not even consider it for the time being, and in fact have that armour moved elsewhere. I'd rather have the armour concentrated than it wasted in just pointless areas. Okay. Right, we saw no offensive here in the north, which is very good news. I really do not want to see that area fall, because that is going to very much threaten our flanks here. And in fact, the Germans could in fact go for Antwerp and Brussels if they actually break through and potentially achieve a victory by victory location. So let's not allow that one, shall we? Okay, let's get on with the airplane then. So let's see what we have available. We have much to do and very much to achieve. So let's make sure we achieve that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's go for a radical overhaul of these missions. Okay. Let's see, what do we have in terms of ground support? Air superiority, ground attack here. Right, so 9th US. Right, cancel that reconnaissance mission. This one we are going to have retasked. I need this area really covered. I need it absolutely locked down. Okay, I'm going to change that location hex. I need it centered in this area over here. Okay, so I need this to be radically increased. So intensity is going to be high. We're going to change this so fly in all weather. Right, altitude is looking good. Okay. So far we're staging from Central over here in the north. We don't really have any other better airfields closer to the front line. So this is going to be fine. This is going to be fine. Okay. Let's see what we can commit to this. Plenty more reconnaissance. That's really what we need right now. We do have some more Spitfires freed up, so I'm going to have them thrown into the escort role. This is going to work out pretty well for us. I'm very much looking towards really this area. In fact, I might even... Yeah, I'm going to concentrate this further. And... this is rough. Okay. Right, we'll compromise. I do want high intensity reconnaissance, but I do need to make sure I cover the right areas. So we're going to cover this area here. Okay. I've thrown all my reconnaissance into this area as much as I can do, so that's fine. The bombing of a city, we're going to cancel this. It's going to be used elsewhere. We do have air superiority in this area here. Committed to this, what do we have? We have a lot of planes committed to this, in fact. I mean, that is a lot of planes. This is a lot of thunderbolts. I could use these thunderbolts in different roles. Okay. The only thing lacking in getting a Grisby game is the expansion of the economic model to make Logistics more of a game within the game. See, that is something that can be improved upon in future iterations. It's an incredibly advanced thing to really sort of portray, but I do feel they will get there one day. Okay, so cancel the superiority mission. Ground support, let's see what we can throw in here. So we do have plenty more Havocs. So far we are supporting the 1st US Army. Alright, that's good news, very good news. We do have the 9th US Army as well, let's see. Let's take a look at our commander's report then, shall we? Headquarters. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Right, US Army. Okay. So the 1st US Army is actually overburdened. Only by a small amount. It's 5 command points of its capacity, which is going to negatively affect us. Let's take a look at the commander of the 1st US Army then, shall we? Okay, Courtney H. Hodges. 11 defeats, 1 victory so far. Let's see, do we have somebody better to replace you with? I mean, we do have Eisenhower. I think that would be a little bit overkill. But that is something to consider. Let's take a look at the rank requirement. So we do have a Lieutenant General. We do have Patton over here. But he's busy elsewhere. Eight, 8, 4, 4, 5, 3, 7. This is infantry, by the way. I need a good armoured commander. Okay, let's see. So we have mechanized infantry. Air and naval. So I'm looking for mechanized. We do have 6 down here. 6, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, 5, 7, 6, 5, 4, 6, 6, 3. Okay. Yeah, after the Bulge. Hodges should have been fired. I'm intrigued by Hugh. We'll go with you then. Okay, so we have our new commander of the 1st US Army. So, we have Major General Hugh J. Gaffey. He is a superior mechanized commander, and I think he's going to be fairly handy here. We'll see how we go on with him. I think he'll ideally perform in a much better capacity. Let's change this support level. This is going to increase the amount of support required here, well, given over here. Okay. Right then, so let's take a look at our air power. So reconnaissance. Let's see what we can achieve. Ground attack would be rather interesting. Okay. Where is the Luftwaffe? It's very much weakened in this area. Yeah, the Luftwaffe is looking weak on the ground. We do have overwhelming superiority of numbers in this area, which is something I really do want to make use of. Now, something that we can do here to really get an idea of how we're doing is take a look at the graphs over. So let's take a look at the total ready men here. Let's see. Well, there's often the issue in these games that you can enter a huge size of equipment that you do not get to rotate into your units, and one of these had 154 Tigers just sitting there. That's an impressive amount of Tigers. Okay. AFVs is what I want to see here. So their numbers have actually increased. Not a huge amount, but they have increased. Aircraft, on the other hand, is dramatically shot up for ourselves and dramatically lowered for the Axis. Okay. Ground support would be good. In fact, this army will be tasked with really the capture Cologne. I'd rather have these armies concentrate on this area, in fact, for the encirclement rather than the actual nitty-gritty of taking Cologne. So the army here in purple will be tasked with that. Okay, so... Right, let's use our forces then in conjunction. So, ground support, let's see what we have available. So we do have far more planes I could commit to this. I'm going to have them fly in all weathers. In fact, speaking of weather, let's take a look at our weather report then, shall we? So, December 30th, the weather isn't very good. There's snow on the ground. The air is cold. In the following turn, it's actually going to clear up quite nicely. That's nice. Oh, in fact, no, that's snowfall. Yeah, snowfall. Right, this is getting a little bit difficult, so we're going to try to push forward. So dominating weather, yep, cold, rough, very rough. Okay, we need to go fast. What can we commit to this? We have a bunch of Havocs that can commit to this, which is quite nice. Ground support, or do I want to go with actual ground attack and really try to neuter them to a degree? We'll go for a ground attack, ground support roll. I need a lot of planes committed to this. Right, escorts. Huge amount of planes here. Huge. Okay. They're going to receive a hell of a lot of air support in this area. In fact, the entire knife is really going to be committed to this. Ah, see you there later. Tier J. Have a great one, my dude. I hope you enjoy work as much as that is possible. I hope you do. Right, what? Okay, so this should work out fairly well. Okay, the RAF Tactical Command. So we do have ground support for this over here, but we don't need to do that. I can cancel the ground support here. I want to support this area more than anything. So we're going to throw more air support in this area. We're going to cancel the ground attack, cancel that ground attack. Reconnaissance, what do we have going for us right now? So reconnaissance and reconnaissance, that's fine. Okay. Ground support. Oh, you're going to benefit a hell of a lot from this. What I'm doing here is basically... it's quite dangerous, I won't lie about this. It is very dangerous to do this. I'm basically throwing my bombers and my fighter bombers into a big ground support mission. What I want to do here is really force this issue. I really do want to force the issue and envelop the German armies there. This is the best opportunity we're going to have, and I really want to make sure we actually achieve it. This is a huge amount of planes. They are at varying distances away, but we need to make this work. I need to make sure these planes are actually escorted, so we will make this work. Okay, there's a huge amount of planes in this area. If we take a look here, then every single one of these planes is going to be mobilized. Okay. That's fine by me. I'm going to commit to this. This is going to be more than adequate for what I need right now. Reconnaissance is important, but I do need the ground support because I'm really going to have to try and force my way through here. I don't have an opportunity really beyond that. If we are too slow, we're not going to have the advantage. We're not going to be able to actually completely isolate the German armies and ideally destroy it. So we'll do our damnedest to make sure this does not happen. Okay, so we're running our air doctrine, running our air missions here, our sorties over Germany and the occupied Netherlands and areas of France, basically. So, how is everybody doing? It's been a whole 5 minutes since I asked. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. Right, so the Germans there have only lost a few planes. The Luftwaffe is very light in its activity, which is rather interesting. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen flak losses, but at the end of the day, we're not throwing much out there besides reconnaissance. Okay, so we lost 99 aircraft, 191 were damaged. Why is mass and air power dangerous? Mostly because I'm not running air superiority missions, I'm not running missions that will basically suppress their airfields. I'm really massing my air power when it could be better spread out for different uses, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure we are supported in this offensive. So we can see here, we do need to break them. They have increased from what was 4 hexes to a much larger and wider base. We need to break them, we need to break them now. We do have the opportunity to do this down here in the south, which is fantastic. We can see here, logistics back on, we'll turn that back off. Units isolated, so we do have the 7th US Army and the 326th Bulge Grenadier Division, but we are going to have to really wait for that one. These guys are suffering on supplies. So, yes, we need to force the issue. I'm not really in the know about the... I do have better reconnaissance than I normally would do, which is really nice. It's encouraging. I think I will try to narrow that down even further. They have a Bulge in the centre. Yeah, I'm going to try and cut them off, but we have to be very careful. We are going to try our damnedest to cut them off. The weather isn't great. There's snow on the ground, which is going to make things rather difficult, so we do need to be quite careful. We are going to act first and act fast. Right, we are weak on the ground in this area too. I do have to take that into consideration. We do have the 2nd Fortium Jaeger Division, at least a regiment of it. We do have panzers. We have a Panzer Grenadier Division along with the 277th Division. We have the Infantry Division, the 711th, at least a regiment of it. And we do have the 1st SS Panzer Division. The Germans are looking pretty tough in this area. Thank you, and see you later there. Thank you for being in the stream. Thank you for your support. Everybody, if you could say thank you to our fine fellows over at Slytherin for all the work that they do. They do a great job. Okay. Now we do have armor here. This is rough. We need to be rather certain of our actions. Now, the landings at Bitburg are going to be rather interesting and dangerous. So, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, I implore you, do we go for the dangerous options? And by the dangerous options, I mean, do we land our airborne forces at Bitburg? We don't know what we could encounter at Bitburg. I have no idea. I have no idea if there's actually a unit there. I have no idea whether we actually might encounter one. I have no idea. I don't know what we have in this place. We know there's a headquarters, so at least that is something of knowledge. We know there's mostly a headquarters over here. If we land with little resistance, which is obviously going to be impossible because these units are going to be defended. The headquarters are going to be defended, but if we can break through, it is going to lead towards unequaled success in the west, at least for some time. I do have the opportunity. Even if it is a small pocket, it is definitely worthwhile trapping these Panzer divisions, especially the SS Panzer divisions, which will not be in the theatre for too long. Okay, Shoko with the paratroopers. Ooh. I like the risk in a man. This position is very tenuous. I can break through the 365 Volksgrenadiers. Okay, your advisor, Newhauser, still advocates for the push towards Mainz and Cologne. Okay, we're gonna go... It's difficult. It's real difficult. If I throw my paratroopers, we do run a big risk. We are gonna go ahead and try and see what happens, though. I think we go... okay, that's not bad, actually. I thought this was a little bit... Right, that's fantastic. Let's see, where do we have a landing? 1110, 191, okay. We're going to land the 101st US Airborne Division behind the enemy lines over here. They're going to drop. Okay, we need to make sure that they are given good, very good escorts. Okay. I need more Thunderbolts in this. Right, launch. Yeah, we lost a lot of troops there. Right. The 101st US Airborne has landed. The damage has been fairly heavy. Jesus. There's definitely forces in the area. We lost 119 planes there. We lost 120 planes. That was a very, very risky move. We lost 2,816 paratroopers, we lost 37 guns. The main thing is we are behind the enemy lines, which is both a good and a bad thing, because we are in a terrible situation as of right now. But this could prove to be very much vital. Now, do we go ahead with further landings? That is the question. Do we even have the capacity for further landings? Questionable. (110, 191). The 82nd US Airborne is going to drop. Right, we actually do not have the capacity to do so. Right, okay, so we've lost a hell of a lot there. But the 101st US Airborne is down on the ground. They're behind enemy lines, deep behind enemy lines. We must save them. They have given so very much to be there. A hell of a lot of the division has been wiped there from the face of the earth. We need to rescue them. But that position is vital. We must rescue the 101st US Airborne. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, to work we go. I think we need the music changing. Something a little bit more appropriate then, shall we? Let's see. There we go. Now we're getting the feeling going, aren't we? We need to devise a way to free the 101st Airborne. Yeah, we had a hellish time there. Okay, so I have the US infantry over here to the north. We need to make the greatest use of them to break through the German lines here. Ultimately, we must break through here if we are to save the 101st US Airborne, otherwise they're going to be wiped out. And that is going to be rough. Let's see. We do have a lot of air support for this. I mean, let's take a look at this, in fact. Air support is a massive list here. We have 75 air groups this side, 309 bombers, 434 escort aircraft. That's a lot of support. That's indeed a lot of support. Okay. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to move this division here. Right, so we've implemented the Fallschirmjägers. Okay, so the 5th US Armoured could be used. So we can see that this is actually not open, as I was hoping. Right. That's tricky. Move our division here. Could you show 4 levels? Sure. Now this position is by far the easiest to break through. We do have an opportunity here. The fact is I cannot break their positions here. I can break the Jaegers. But it's honestly not going to be quite enough. I could break them potentially over here, this infantry division. Possibly the 9th Volksgrenadier division can be broken on the field of battle. That is a possibility, a very small possibility, one that we really are going to have to work towards. So let's see if the ground support was enough to ensure our victory, at least in this small location. Okay, bring you closer to your actual home division. Right, I'm going to throw in the US Armoured. How are the RT issues in the south? Artillery support units in the south. Let's see. Not a huge amount, we only have 187 guns. We are going to commit more artillery here. Look at the number of guns going up here, we need more. Much more. I'm looking for about 500 artillery pieces here. Right, we've exceeded that by 7. I'm happy with that one. Self-propelled artillery. I will have that really given to the north. Okay. Couple combat engineer battalions. Okay, support has been increased dramatically so. Let's move them closer to the front line, make sure that they're able to be used. Okay. Is that enough? No, it is not enough to break through that. I would have to commit an armor division, which I'm very much reluctant to do. That's very rough. Right, we'll attempt to break through here, but to be honest, I'd rather use my air power elsewhere. What do we actually have in terms of support then for our forces here? So air support, 815 bombers, 709 escorts, that's a lot. I'm very hesitant about this. I'm worried about the 101st Airborne. I think they could actually be wiped out if we're not careful. And honestly, I think they might indeed just be wiped out in general. It was a risky move, and I'm not sure it will pay off. We'll have to see. Okay. For the sake of the 101st Airborne, I am going to move further forces to the north here. Okay, now this is a large force. This should be enough to break through. Okay. Right. My God. That is actually... that's terrifying. That is definitely not good. Okay, the Jaegers have actually held out. And rather dramatically so. They were attacked by 36,000 men, 506 armored fighting vehicles, and they actually held on. Okay, yeah, the 101st, we need to see if we can supply them. Well, supply them from the air. Right. That's just not enough. I do not have enough escorts for that. It would be suicide, in fact. The 101st are going to have to hold their positions. Okay. The only way to save them is potentially from the south here. Which we do have a good opportunity to do so. Okay. That's not enough to defeat them. I need to dislodge this division, and even then that is going to be difficult. I could take the actual city here. It's possible, but I'd rather use my forces elsewhere. Okay. I need to break through. Not good. Go for a hasty attack, see what we have here. Right, west wall. Okay, that's fantastic. We actually forced that to surrender. Okay. Yeah, the zone of control here is pretty horrific. The good news is we're only a short distance away from Trier. The bad news is we can't really reach Trier. I'm going to have to throw my units here. We do have another full attack I'm going to try. But at the end of the day, this must be broken. And I don't think it's going to be possible. But I'm going to throw my forces as much as I can and really, really desperately try to break the Jaegers. And it's just not happening. Now this is getting, let's say, interesting. We're going to have to use the armored. Let's see. I don't have that much to lose with this. Except 32 tanks. That's what I have to lose. Yeah, the Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. Hello there, Pixel. How are you doing? Okay, the Germans are actually being very, very stubborn here. Right. So the 101st... We do have a thankful blessing here. The corridor here is open for the time being. We don't have supplies making it through as we don't control this territory, but the thing is, this is going to force the Germans to reconsider their allies. If we punch through here, we do stand a chance of potentially relieving the 101st of being the priority targets for the German armies in these areas. But it's going to be a very difficult and a very dangerous mission here. We do not have much of a point of failure. Okay. Oh, you've been working on combat mission Black Sea. I like the Russian campaign. Okay. I'm going to have to really overcommit in terms of assets to be able to break through here. I need to do this. It's a massive waste of armor, but at the end of the day, this is going to break through. I'm going to go with a hasty attack, or do I go for the full attack? I'm going to go for the full attack, but do I just use the second US armored? I can... Oh, right, okay, of course. I do have armor that can follow up. Let's see. Don't worry, Monty also overcommitted in Market Garden. Yeah, indeed. I think we're just going to have to go for it. I'm going to be throwing... Okay. At the end of the day, let's take this into consideration. If I fail by using a hasty attack, I've lost that movement. I've lost many more forces than I would normally. If we break through, then we can advance further. If I don't break through, this is the 101st Airborne that is going to be wiped out. So we are going to commit, and we're going to commit hard. Even then, right, thankfully we break through. Thankfully we break through. Let's take a look over here then, shall we? Okay. We did inflict good losses upon the enemy. Yeah, they had 4 armoured fighter vehicles. We had 927. That's a huge amount. We lacked an artillery though. But we've broken through. We do still have movements, that's fantastic. Let's see. Volksgrenadier Division and the Panzer Corps. I believe we'll use infantry to push up. Well, I can't here. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, I was honestly dubious about that, but that's really good. I'm very happy with that result there. So we had the Panzer Corps dislodged. Fantastic news. Disrupted the Volksgrenadier Division here too. Fantastic. Okay. I can't quite move through here. This is a difficult situation. Right, they need to hold that position. This infantry division will move up. We'll split this one. Right, not the maneuver I was hoping for, to be honest. But at the end of the day, let's take a look at this while we're dealing with here. So they're down to 2 hexes here and 2 hexes here. So that has restricted their flow of supply. I mean, we're very close. If we take Trier, they're going to be pretty much cut off from supply. If you take a look here, this supply line has been cut. This one is so close to being cut. So close. If we'd had the transport planes, I could have actually cut that off. We might go for a very aggressive mission here in the south just to see if we can throw the German logistic network out of order. In fairness, I need to break this location. In all honesty, to be assaulting a city, I'd like to have at least 1,000 guns. That's usually something I would like to go for. But let's just make sure that we have enough combat engineer battalions. Okay. We need to break the Tsar. CMBS translates to Combat Mission Black Sea. A very competent war game. I mean, it's a nice game. I like it. I very much enjoy it. Is this enough? That's the question. We'll find out. No, it's nowhere near. Right, the flak has surrendered, and the Tsar is ours. Heavy losses there, but we've actually taken the city. So that is one of our objectives nailed down and truly brought under control. So this is fantastic. I need to use this as a depot. We do have a lot of fuel and supply here already. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, we're going to initiate priority repair to this location. I don't care about the manpower or anything other than that. We can actually bring it right into use. Let's see. Yeah, if we connect this rail line, we'll be good to go. Indeed, we need to connect this. Repairs. Okay, so at least we're going to repair the rail line here. Fantastic. Bomb that division up. Okay, this is a weakened position here. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, we can fail. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to put pressure on the Germans. The reason being, I want them to redeploy. I need them to redeploy. Okay. We are in difficult waters here. These defensive positions are quite dangerous. That is the lightest defense that we can see here. Right, so we haven't managed to achieve the breakthrough I wanted. I need them to drop. We do have our armor in a good position though. With our forces closer to the front line. With the core to Aachen. With our headquarters at Aachen as well. Fantastic. Okay. I do have another one over here, which is quite handy. I'll repair the rail line over here. There we go. Yeah, the 101st is helping to cut off their supply lines, which is really good. In all honesty, they are cut off. I mean, the rail line is severed here, it's severed here. They're cut off. I'd have loved to really complete it by taking the actual town, but it is cut off for the time being. Not in the way I would have wanted, but it's cut off nonetheless. So we have achieved in part our objectives, just not quite as well as I would have hoped for. So what we can do here then is we can progress the turn, see how things evolve, and let's just take a look at our losses here. We have taken some heavy losses in the air. And as the ground losses continue to pile up, we've managed to inflict more damage against the German forces here. Air losses are getting much higher now. That's a lot of transports lost. We've lost so far 133 in total, and 119 in this one turn. That's a large loss of planes. Okay. Let's see what we can make of this. I need to see how the Germans respond to this. The 101st Airborne is more than likely to be destroyed. It is going to be worthwhile. They have completed a vital objective in the fact that this entire salient is indeed cut off, as been pointed out, which is going to be worth their weight in gold. We do have our forces nestled and wedged between the German lines. We need to make sure that their sacrifice will be... Yes. They've been wiped out. Okay. The salient has evolved rather. Right, okay, this is interesting. I mean, the 101st has suffered, and they've been removed from play. I'm just hoping that their sacrifices actually bought us the space that we need. And that's what I'm hoping for right now. I mean, we've managed to turn the Ardennes offensive into a Ardennes counter-offensive. We are nipping at the heels of the Germans. I mean, they only have 3 hexes there. So let's take a look at this. I really need to see what's going on here. Let's see. The 101st is gone. Their supplies are back up and running. But they are suffering. And they only have this one supply line. But you know what? The biggest thing over here is the fact that they've retreated in a big way. This is actually fantastic. We can be on the very gates. We can be at the very gates of Trier. They've actually given up Baston, so Baston is able to be re-secured. Fantastic. Yeah, looks like they weakened their forces Trier. Very, very well seen. They have indeed done that. We do have the 2nd SS Panzer, we do have the 9th SS Panzer, the 17th SS Panzer Grenadiers, the Volksjäger Division, we have the 130th Panzerlehr Division, we have the 11th Panzer Division, 2nd Panzer Division. They have a lot of their armoured forces in this area. We need to cut this off. We need to do this. Let's see. So we still have our forces on mostly ground support. In fact, what I may do is, in fact, take away some of this ground support and really throw it against them. But how do we do this? If I focus on this division here, that might be a way to break them. I could actually focus on Trier, but Trier is not the answer. So we do have the 1st SS Panzer Division. We have the 21st Panzer Division. Right. What do you guys reckon? We have a few opportunities here. I'd say this area is by far the weakest point, relatively speaking. Okay, let's take a look. We really... I mean, we know there's 2 SS Panzer divisions and a Panzer Grenadier division here. They've really checked us in the north. They have recognised the dire threat that these armoured divisions present. But the fact is, we do still have 2 armoured divisions to the south. We still have these armoured divisions here to the south even further. We do have a significant amount of force that we can throw against the German forces. The important thing here to take into consideration is the river line, which we are in fact able to take advantage of. I can try and cut them off on both sides of the river. So we need to, I think, concentrate our ground attack in this area here. So you know what, I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to set up a ground attack directive with the 9th US Air Command. Okay, let's see. Area 1 perhaps. That area is going to be perfect. That's half this. The rest can be set to the ground attack mission. Right, they're not ready as of yet. Yeah, taking tree armor secure, it basically cuts off 10 divisions out of supply, and those 10 divisions are very important divisions. Okay, sign all air groups. Right, at least we'll have these guys running. In fairness, let's see. I can throw them up as fighter bombers, and they'll do pretty well. Yeah, I'm going to throw them up as fighter bombers in fairness. So we'll confirm. At least size some ground attack that's going to take place. The reconnaissance needs to be shifted. So it's narrow it down to 2. In fact, I'm going to use the RAF Tactical to actually narrow it down even further. I need more reconnaissance over this area. Let's actually make this 2. Okay. I'd love to see a hypothetical France invades Germany 1939, 1941. That'd be rather interesting. That would be rather interesting. Fighter command. Yeah, mains looks a lot more difficult, very true. We'll keep them available. I don't have a use as of yet for them. This reconnaissance can be shifted. In fact, this reconnaissance can be cancelled. The planes can be assigned elsewhere. Ideally over here. Actually, just move that a little bit to the north. Okay. Right. It's not the greatest effort that we could make here, but at least it's going to be one that ideally will help us out. Let's take a look at the weather. It is extremely poor. In the air, not so bad. Not great. Not great. A concern would be that northern units get shifted down. That's very true, but at the end of the day, I can take advantage of that. We can take advantage of the shift in movement. I mean, to be honest, we have been pushing hard in the centre. I think we are going to be able to achieve some kind of vital movement. In fact, if I could even encircle one division, that would be worth it. Okay. You know what, I think I actually forgot to change it. So we hit the air bases here. That's fine enough. That's my bad. Okay, let's take a look at the situation on the ground then. So we are going to recapture Baston, liberate Baston. So the 101st has been wiped out. Yeah. There goes the 101st. They will be missed. Do we have the capability to drop more troops? That's the thing that we do have to take into consideration here. Okay, so let's move these troops from behind the lines. Okay. The thing is, I can actually push forwards, which is really, really nice. We do have a opportunity here, potentially, to weaken the 10th SS Panzer. Why is the recon blinking? I'm new to the game and have this a lot, not enough reconnaissance players. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if we take a look over here then at this map mode, so you can see our reconnaissance isn't great. And that's really down to the weather making things difficult. It's not the greatest situation. I mean, we are in the depths of winter, pretty much, so we have to accept some things. But at the end of the day, if we advance even one hex, that is going to be very much a vital thing to do. Let's see. 1110... Well, 110... 191 was that. That's where we drop. Well, 109... Where would we drop? Oh, here to the north, okay. 111, 190, 110, 190. If we drop there, we could cut that rail line again. Get in fuel. But we are starting to run low on supplies. At the end of the day, if I cut this rail line over here, then I've actually achieved quite a big objective. So let's see what we can do to that matter then, shall we? This is a difficult situation to decide upon, really. Let's take a look at their fortifications. Right, they have fortifications here, they have fortifications here. Not very heavy fortifications, but fortifications nonetheless. So we do need to be somewhat pragmatic and somewhat practical in how we're going to carry this out. The most obvious move would be try to move this way, but we might in fact have a much better chance of success by doing something a little bit more unorthodox. I think a air landing would be good, but I think I'd like to see how we move our forces and see how the dominoes fall, really. The cards fall before we really decide on something as major as that. We have learned our lesson with the loss of the 101st Airborne Division, but in the... I mean, they have wiped out that rail line. That rail line is completely down. So they are going to be bleeding supplies left, right and centre. That's something to consider. I think I might try to dislodge this force here. But have a I'd actually be able to achieve this. I think I might go for that instead. That's 5 divisions. It's definitely overkill, but at the end of the day, well, then again, let's see. I can't beat them. It's not going to happen. I think I'd be better off doing this over here, to be fair. Oh, they bloody held. Okay, we forced them to retreat. We've actually secured the airfield over here, that's fantastic news. Now I could try to dislodge this force here. We could actually try to make a sweep towards Cologne. Fantastic. Bulge. Never mind. It's like I would redo that movement, but that's fine. I'll set them in that location there. We are really pushing them here. Okay. To be honest, we might actually achieve more by going for Cologne. If we keep pushing them and pushing them here, basically tightening the noose, if we focus... Really what we need to do is focus on these areas. If we focus on these areas and tighten the noose around the German salients, they can't move that quickly. They can't move that many troops out of there. They're going to end up leaving something behind. So we need to... we need to narrow this down. Even having one Airborne here might be worthwhile. We'll see. We shall see. We'll try our hand with the armor then. I really need to see what we're dealing with. Let's see, can I move the infantry through here? I could move that force, but it's a little bit... It's not strong enough, really. Okay, we'll go for a full strength movement. Let's assign some support units. Okay. What do we have here? Panzergrenadier Division. Volksgrenadier Division and 2 Volksjäger Division, regiments. We do have a brigade there. Okay. I need you to switch commands. Okay, fair enough. Thank you, and see you later, new Hauser. The stream is very much close to the end, so we're just doing our final movements here. I think what we'll do then for our final attack is try our luck. We do have potentially 17 defense here, we're potentially 13. This would be easier to take, but this could bring us closer. But in all honesty, this wouldn't be very good. We'll go for this. I think this is what we're going to go for. Then again, there's a headquarters here. 2 headquarters. Yeah, we're going to go for this division. I don't think we'll make it. No, we definitely don't make it. Definitely don't make it. Okay, let's try and attack over this way. Close, but definitely no cigar. We've managed to lock down another hex, so at least that is something. In the following stream, next week we will try to secure and ultimately destroy this pocket. It's not a pocket yet, but it is getting closer and closer. We are starting to narrow it down. We do have our forces in the south to move, which we're going to try our best. If I can narrow down the width of the pocket by another hex, another 10 kilometers, another 20 kilometers ideally, we'll be in a good position. We need to really make it very, very difficult for the Axis forces to actually withdraw from the area. But alas, we have reached the end of the stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed this just as much as I have. I think it's been absolutely fantastic. I thank you all so very, very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again in the future. So thank you, I have been XTRG, you have been you. I hope to see you again next week, next Wednesday, 6 PM while 8 PM. Thank you, and goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. See you all very, very soon in the future. Have a good one.